Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino here again with another episode of Deep Listens. Today, we are discussing Deathbulge Battle of the Bands, which is a video game that you can get on your personal computer. Joining me, as always, to discuss all things video games, one Pete Busby. How you doing, Pete?
I'm doing good. I haven't actually, I know I say this a lot, and often it's a lie, but I think I do have an actually fun fact for today.
Hey!
Yeah. I know it's rare. So, terminal velocity is like the fastest a body will go in free fall, right? So, it's determined by basically a combination of mass and air resistance, like drag in a nutshell. Squirrels have a maximum terminal velocity, depending on how they're oriented, but let's say they weren't trying to hit the ground, of about 23 miles per hour, which is very, very slow. And
Really?
they hit that, and they hit that within the first 3 seconds of free fall. So you can drop a squirrel from pretty much any height, and it should survive.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
This
question.
is yes.
So science, it's not always kind. Has anyone tried dropping a squirrel out of a plane?
I don't think so. I think they've pretty much been relying on the math for this one. But it wouldn't surprise me if you unearthed some sort of study where they just heaved a bunch of squirrels from a cargo plane.
And then they had their lives changed, but otherwise were fine.
Yeah, just like mentally destroyed, but physically okay.
Hmm.
That other voice you heard is the mistress of games herself, M. Palladino. How you doing, M?
I'm doing all right. This is also why like bugs and stuff, you can just like
Mhm.
drop them and they won't suffer any ill consequences because they're too small.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
Squirrels
that was
are
true of
yeah.
squirrels, though.
Pretty
Yeah.
much any
Squirrels
small animal, really.
Squirrels seem like the upper limit, I think. After that, you're getting into dicey territory. You shouldn't be dropping anything out of from great heights.
But if you did,
But
if you
but if
did
you
take your
did,
pet squirrel to the top of the
Yeah.
Empire State Building and hurl it off, it would be fine.
Yep.
you are
Pretty much.
ruining someone's day at the bottom of it, possibly.
That's true. That's true. Make sure it's a weekday, like middle of the day, so there's not too many people on the street. But if you were to do that,
Yeah. They're New Yorkers. They deserve to be hit with squirrels, if you ask me.
It'd
I
be
mean,
very surprising.
it would be, wouldn't it? For
There are
you and
no
the squirrel.
trees around. Yeah. Uh,
Well, what has a higher terminal velocity, a penny or a squirrel?
Probably the penny, because it would have less drag. But
I would
I don't know.
guess.
I'd have to look it up.
Okay, I'll give you a second to look at that. To
I'm
look
not
that
going
up.
to, but
Damn it. I kind of want to know because I've had a long-standing fear of. I looked over the
Squirrel.
edge of a tall building when I was a child and was afraid that if I had
of a
dropped
squirrel just leaping from the side of the building up at you.
a quarter falling out of my pocket and ending
Oh.
someone at street level. But apparently, if it was a squirrel, it would have been fine.
Yeah. If you had a pocket full of squirrels, you'd have other problems.
That's true.
Yeah, I'd be having too much fun with too many cute little animals. All right. Well, before we get to Deathbulge Battle of the Bands, our normal housekeeping, you can get in touch with the show, deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. That's our email address. And deeplistens.libsyn.com, we have our comment sections. You can also support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens, which at the $1 tier gets you access to our Discord. At the $3 tier gets you access to the OG Soncast, which is the Big O episode on the way.
Let's hope so.
Let's
I
hope
need to connect
so.
with my co-hosts. Yeah.
Big O episode is the next one coming up. We are also a scant few folks away from having to play Duke Nukem Forever on the main podcast. That's what's going to
Yeah.
happen when we hit 50
Woohoo.
patrons with OG Soncast patrons counting twice. So if you want us to play one of the worst games ever made, you could do that to us.
That can't be true.
Oh,
Is
man.
it?
I mean, I don't.
I guess we'll find out.
I mean, do you grade on a curve too, like based on the amount of like effort and time that went into trying to make it good?
I mean, it was in development hell for like a decade. And then what came out was one of the most virulently misogynistic pieces of art released in
Right.
video
Oh, wow.
games.
So that part's
Which-
good, but the mechanics are pretty janky.
Uh-huh.
I just want to say it's hard to be one of the most misogynist things to come out of video games, and yet Nukem Forever's there showing you how it's done. But yeah, just the $1 tier gets you access to the Discord, which might get you put on the Discord report.
The Discord report. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. This week on the Discord, we just had a big fundraiser. How did that go, Gino?
We did. The Giant Bomb Community Endurance Run was last weekend. We raised, let me see what the number's at right now as a team. Just a second. We raised over $3,000 for Pencils of Promise,
Nice.
a charity that builds schools, trains teachers, and sends kids to school in developing nations.
Woo.
For that, I did about a 2-hour stream of doing Ring Fit Adventure, where every $10 raised, I spun a wheel of exercise that made me play the game weird, or eat Oreos to carbo load during the exercise,
Sure, like peak athletes do.
like peak athletes do. And the Oreos were Sour Patch Kid Oreos
Ugh,
Ew.
and Post Malone Oreos.
even worse.
What? Wait, what do those taste like?
Post
Like Post
Malone.
Malone.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
It's like face tattoos. It tasted like swirled salted caramel and shortbread flavor cream with a chocolate and vanilla. One chocolate cookie, one vanilla cookie.
How are the Sour
That
Patch
actually
Kid
sounds
ones?
good.
So the Post Malone ones are fine. The Sour Patch Kids ones are befouled.
on,
Who could
on a
have
s-
guessed?
on a scale of 1 to icy cereal, well, what are we talking here?
Okay, icy cereal made my tongue and tummy tingle in a way that I didn't enjoy because of the menthol. This was a foul combination. Did you ever think, what if I could embed Sour Patch Kids in vanilla cream?
Ew.
No one's ever thought
No.
that. That's never
No,
been a
who
thing
would?
anyone's asked for. But that's kind of what it tastes like. It's kind of like, so the two ways I described it during the stream were kind of like a messed up Fig Newton. Because it's all of the Sour Patch Kids flavors. It's not like here's a cherry one, here's a blue one. It's all of the different colors, all in every Oreo. Or what if someone embedded Flintstones vitamins into an Oreo with a vanilla Oreo?
Horrible.
Gummy or solid?
Good question. Good
Yummy.
follow-up.
Yummy.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's a texture problem. It's a taste problem. Didn't like it. Eat a lot of them. And that's
How
the sort of
many
thing
would
I
you
do for the
say
kids.
you ate?
Well, let's
Did
see.
you
There's
eat a full pack?
3 columns in every Oreo satchel.
Oh, you have them here still.
Oh, they're in front of me.
You can't throw them out. You need to
Oh.
take them to like a federal site to be disposed of properly.
Otherwise, they burn through towards the core of the
Yeah,
earth.
that makes sense.
I would venture to guess I ate 15 of these bad boys.
Ew.
That's a
2
lot
days.
of regular Oreos.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's
It
quite
was
a
not
bit.
pleasant. And I'm saying 15 of the Sour Patch. I think I had more than that between the two. Post
How do you
Malone and-
feel?
Not great.
How does that sit?
I didn't
No?
feel good at the time. I would say after my Ring Fit Adventure stream, I felt like I needed to lie down for a while, and
Yeah,
not
I
even
bet.
because of the exercise, just because I felt like death
I
from
think
the inside.
you need to show up at that kid's school and demand some recompense. Like, look, you're here because of me, and see what this did to me.
Look, that's a great point. I will keep that in mind for future years. Just do a stream from the school. Like, here's all the things I've eaten or played in service of you. Prove to me that your education was worth it. Then after that, I helped design a Silent Hill escape room.
Ooh.
So we did a Silent Hill themed escape room. That went really well.
So wait, you designed it and then you went through it?
I designed it and then had my sister, her boyfriend, and a friend go through it.
I see. How did they do?
They did pretty well. They finished it in about
They're
2 hours. I
still-
set aside
still
2.5
inside.
hours for it.
They have not escaped yet. They're in Silent Hill right now, dealing with Pyramid Head.
I think you would have really appreciated some of the design touches, Em.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a radio puzzle in there.
Oh,
Shout outs also
classic.
to friend of the show, Jess Voidberger O'Brien, for helping with some of the design, some ideas for some of these puzzles.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Jess.
Noted Silent Hill expert.
Yep.
True.
There was a big hole that people had to shove their arms down to go get a memory card out of it. There were gameplay puzzles for Silent Hill 1 through 4. You had to actually play the video games in order to do them.
Oh, this is why you were playing the games recently.
I was.
I saw you doing it on stream and I was like, oh no, he's gonna pick it for the show. We're gonna have to play Silent Hill 3 and all
No,
that entails.
I had to stage saves so that they had saves at the appropriate locations
Oh, I
so that
see.
they could go straight to the relevant puzzles and things to complete puzzles in the room.
Did they enjoy it?
They did. They seemed to enjoy it. The radio puzzle was fun because they had to tune it to a frequency, and when they tuned it to a frequency, we had a message playing on the radio.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot of work to set up behind the scenes.
Did y'all ever have those, like, before every car had an audio jack, one of those, like, radio tuners that you could do so you could play, like, an iPod on your car?
Yep.
No, I had a cassette deck. So I had the you put in the cassette and the cord runs out and you plug the iPod into that.
Ah.
That was
Well,
awesome.
basically what I used was one of those radio tuners. So that I could the radio could pick up the message locally, which was good. But yeah, that was fun. And then I made 2 attempts at beating my own Magic Pendule world record. I did not successfully achieve that.
You have the
Yeah.
Magic Pendule world record?
Yeah.
He does.
Is there a leaderboard somewhere I could see the other degenerates on this list and see if they're okay or need some sort of
Speedrun.com.
Here's the secret. He's
psychological
the only one
assistance?
on it.
It's not true. There are 2 other people on it who are 20 minutes slower than me.
Wow.
Those fools. How could they think they could beat you?
I was trying to, because I lost part of the archive of my run, so I wanted to do a front to back run to refresh it. But I was not able to. I got some bad luck on some runs, and it is what it is. But I will probably make other attempts at that record again.
My guess is everybody else who tried to beat it, beat you, Gino, it was their first time and they had to stop for a half hour when the guy pulled out his gun and shot a child and just recover before they could continue.
It was
They were
very
not
fun.
expecting that.
I enjoyed during the stream when people asked, so is this rated E for everyone? Yes.
Somehow, no.
Yes, it is.
Uh-huh.
Which just goes to show the ESRB does not play to the end of these games.
We get it. We see the art style.
Yep.
Yeah. That was it for me. ZP played more terrible adventure games. There was a Mario Party event that was pretty fun. What other stuff? There was Yatsu, friend of the show and Discord member. Yatsu did a series of streams, and he did a push-up for every dollar he raised. So he did over 460 push-ups
That's a lot
Wow.
of push-ups.
for the course of 3 days. It was a lot of push-ups. Yeah, and then it was altogether a pretty fun event. So thanks everyone who participated. Thanks to everyone who supported us as well and watched and contributed. Thanks to members of the Discord, because I saw many of you in the Twitch chats. So thank you. without further ado, I mean, my obsession of the week. What do I got? Let me see if I've got anything in my. I've been watching Free Ren, but I forget if I've said that on this show already.
I think you did, but it's worth mentioning again. So
Still good. Free Ren, still good. Let me see. Is there any other things I've been? I already told you about Wingspan. Still obsessed with that. Yeah, I don't think anything new has really. Oh, you know what? I saw The Life of Pi. The play.
Okay. The
Oh.
play? There's a play?
Play. Yeah, there's a play.
Alright.
How is there a play?
So the play is great. Puppets is the answer.
Ah,
Yeah, there's no like live tiger on stage.
No, there's no live tiger. There's
Very
a very
disappointing.
large tiger puppet.
Mm.
It
I
is
guess
not.
you could do that.
I would say it is very fun. It is very cool how they do the animals and the puppets. Like they have maybe 10 people all told puppeting, and then most of the other folks are playing main characters. But like, when they have the orangutan, there's an orangutan puppet, and then there's people puppeting like tree branches for the orangutan to swing from, and they'll come on stage and then go off stage. The tiger, like there's a person in the midsection of the tiger, and then there's a puppeteer working the back and a puppeteer working the front, which is pretty cool.
Is
It
it
was a
like
really good show. It's on tour.
the Japanese style of puppeting where they're like all dressed in black on stage?
No, I thought that they would all be dressed in black, but they were dressed in, I guess, more appropriate for the locations they were supposed to be in. Sort
Okay.
of like they were costumed pretty normally. It's that sort of idea. Like
Got it.
there are people coming on and puppeting with things on sticks, sometimes more marionette. Like it varied from puppet to puppet, but it was very good. And if you like The Life of Pi, I recommend the play. It's not a musical; it is a play.
Good.
It's really good. It's on tour now.
Book was good.
They couldn't make that into a musical. They didn't want to make some songs.
I'm stuck on a boat with a tiger.
Yeah, you got it. It writes itself.
But is it a metaphor? Maybe. Yeah, it'd be good musical.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is it a man or is it a tiger?
It's
Is
a
it an
puppet.
orangutan
So
or
both.
is it my mom? Yeah. They didn't do that, unfortunately. All right, without
Dang.
further ado, Deathbulge Battle of the Bands. Pete, you picked it. What is it?
I did. Deathbulge Battle of the Bands is you call it an RPG. It sort of reminds me, if we're talking gameplay, of Chrono Trigger. There's sort of like combat with speed lines. You move when your speed line hits the end, and you and your friends are enrolled in a demonic battle of the bands where all the losers die and only the winner wins. And as a result of being enrolled, you can now fight with music. And this is basically your quest to save everyone from the battle of the bands or win it, I guess, depending on how you want to approach the problem.
So you are a three-piece band, a guitar. Do you remember the names, M, of the characters? Or Pete?
I don't.
Faye, Ian, and Briff.
Right. Faye,
Uh-huh.
Ian, and Briff
Mhm.
are the band. Deathbulge,
Yes.
which is name of the game.
Good name.
Faye is the guitarist, Ian is the bassist, and Briff is the drummer. And each of them have their own kind of discrete character classes and abilities. And when you fight, like you said, it's almost like an ATB system. How would you describe the combat system? Like Chrono Trigger
Yeah.
is one, I think, example. Is it? It's kind of an ATB and kind of not. So I don't really know the best way.
I'm not sure if there's anything that's comparable. I know I've seen this sort of thing before, but if you ask me where, I would not be able to place it. Basically you have your what do they call it?
You got measures.
Measures, yes.
Yeah.
There are 4 measures on your line, and when it gets to all the way to the right, through 4 measures, then it is your turn. And each of those measures could have something inside it, such as you might take damage or you might heal. or if there's like spider webs, you go slower through it. And your abilities usually do something to affect the measures, and your opponent has the same thing. So you are affecting their measures as much as you are affecting your own, and you're trying to get the most turns, I guess. Go
Definitely.
faster on this track.
I think
So,
the game that is most analogous to this that we've played for the show, Pete, is
Mhm.
Child of Light, if you remember.
Oh yeah.
From way back when?
No, not at all. What was Child of Light?
Child of Light was a RPG where I think you were like a kid. But
You're
it
a
had
child of light.
yeah, you're a
Yeah.
light child. You know how it is.
Yeah, I get it.
It had the similar thing where you've got this bar that is slowly working its way across the screen, and you might have like other things happening on your meter that are like
Okay.
counting down or impacting you. Um, but like the difference between an active time battle system, a la your Final Fantasies or Chrono Triggers, is that you've got other things that you're putting on your meter that will kind of trigger. Like you can call in buddies or assist characters that will just ride along your meter and get like sped up or slowed down as your character does. And then those 4 measures, there are a variety of buffs and debuffs that can be put on your bar functionally. So like when you're in this quarter of your bar, you're taking damage, or you're healing, or you're slowed down, or you're sped up, or what other stuff? Like you can lose MP, or like the equivalent
Yeah.
of your magic points.
You can summon familiars to fight alongside you.
So like there are bombs that like every 3 times you pass through this section of the meter, on the 3rd time it explodes and deals you a bunch of damage. So you're really like casting status effects on that meter is as or more important than just attacking your enemy or healing
Yeah.
yourself.
It's big.
Em, what did you think of like the meter system in terms of making buffs and debuffs relevant in this game?
Good. I liked it. I mean, sometimes with these games, you're just kind of like, I poison you, and then a little number ticks down. But this one, it actually feels like, substantial when you are affecting the meter. Um, it's good. Uh, there's like a little bit of tactical ness you have to do with it, because sometimes you will have like, let's say something good is on your meter, like you're restoring health on your next uh, uh, like section, and you want to avoid overriding that with something else. Uh, and every so often it like ticks forward, I think, whenever it's affected. So I had some instances where I would like stop uh doing something that would like reset the meter because I had a bunch of good stuff on it. Um I had this one ability towards the end where it reversed everything, like the effects of all the stuff on your meter. Um and so I would set it up with a bunch of bad stuff, and then I would reverse it so that it would turn into a bunch of good stuff. Uh, and when it got to that point where I was like actually a lot more hands on with it, I was like, oh yeah, this is the good stuff. Uh,
Yeah,
what's
and
up? This is where it's at.
100%. And when you're impacting the meter, um, each section of the meter that you impact, it goes in order. So you go left to right. So if you give yourself a buff, it will impact the first section of meter. If you do it again, it'll impact the second, third, fourth, and then it'll go back to the first. Like you said, Em, the sequencing of when you cast buffs or debuffs is relevant, right? Like you can't just keep casting haste on yourself to make yourself go faster and faster and faster. At a certain point, once you've got 4 meters full, 4 measures full, you can't put anything else on there.
Right.
You just overwrite things. So you kind of set up what your ideal meter looks like, and then you go from there, which is kind of
Hmm.
fun. Um, I also enjoyed like enemies are vulnerable to status
Hmm.
effects.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that is just usually not the case in RPGs when you deal with higher level opponents. Like the answer for how do we make a high level opponent more difficult is, hey, debuffs don't work.
Yeah.
In this game, everything from the beginning of the game to the end of the game is vulnerable. They might be more aggressive about removing debuffs or overwriting your buffs, but they are not completely impervious to this stuff.
Yeah. The only thing I would have liked, and this is a minor quibble, is like because this is a music game, it would have been nice if you could have changed the tempo. Like the reason you have 4 is because it's in 4/4 time. Like what if you do it in 3/4 time or 2/4 time or some other thing I don't know about because I'm not a musician. But
Sorry,
that
this
would
is
have been
Deathbulge, not Tool.
that would have been a nice way to like give a little bit more like strategy. Like there's just another hex you can cast.
That
It would
sounds
be
so scary. That
it would
sounds
be
like a
kind of
nightmare to
funny.
code.
Yeah, is that? I'm sure it would be.
Yeah. That's a tall ask, I'll say.
It would just be very funny if it was like, hey guys, what if we became a math band, a math rock band?
Uh,
How about some 5/3? Yeah, sure. And that, I guess that does raise that's a good transition to classes. So this game has a
I
class
gotta pull up
system.
the list.
I have the
Do
list in
you,
front of me. Hold
okay,
on.
good. Pete or M, whoever knows the classes, what classes can your characters be?
Okay. So, Pete, do you want to take it or you want me to
I
just
don't.
go into
I'm
it?
still. I'm still
Okay.
pulling it up.
All right.
You get it.
All right. So I wrote this down because I
Smart.
needed to. I need to have it ready. So there are 9 or so different classes. They each have a color associated with them, and only certain characters can become certain classes. I don't have it split up in a way that's like Ian can turn into this and Faye can turn into this. I just have a list.
I can do that next.
Okay, so the classes, they're all split up based on characters. They all have a color associated with them. I'm just going to go through what all the classes are. There's the show off, that's phase starting class. It's very fast. Before I forget, there's a bunch of stats. Most of them are like what your attack is going to be or what your resistance is. Um, there's melody and then there's noise are the 2 attack stats. Um, and each class is sort of spec'd towards like maybe it's more melody or maybe it's balanced. So the show off is more melody and speed. There is another class called the distorter. This is the dark red. It's got a high melody, and it's usually about like messing with yourself, I think. Um,
It
the
messes with the
headbang,
self and others.
yeah. The headbanger really messes with yourself. This is like putting really bad things on your bar, like whenever you do an attack. So
It's
it
like
kind of,
recoil. Recoil,
yeah,
basically.
exactly. And it's got a high noise profile. This is the red. There is the busker, which I never used. Um, Seems like a more defensive class. It's got high toughness. Uh, then there is avant-garde, which I really liked. Avant-garde gets high life and it also has a really high noise stat. So it's a pretty good tank.
It's the
Well
yellow one,
toned.
right?
Yes, that's the yellow one. And that one's probably my favorite of the bunch, I would say. Um, Ian's starting class is well toned. Ian is a muscle skeleton, we should mention. It hasn't come up yet, but that's why this is called well toned. Uh, this has high life and toughness, so it's really good defensively. Uh, Toner, that's Briff's starting class. This is the light blue. It is a healer, and it also has a pretty high melody stat. Sampler, which is the gimmick class. This is the blue mage of this game because you are taking the like samples, like what do they call them? Beats? I think it's beats.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
beats.
something like
They're
that.
the like
Yes.
sick attack.
Equipable skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you get it from enemies when you kill them, and then the sampler can use that in order to attack, which usually they aren't really worth it, but sometimes you're like out of your MP or whatever, so they're good to have as a backup. You have one slot for them, you might as well use it. But sampler, too gimmicky for me. And then the last one is Goth. This is the violet one. It has a very high melody and also it has resistance. So it is a pretty good attacker. And this one, it kind of, I think it slows you more than anything else, I want to say. Yeah. It's very interested in having adverse effects on your bar.
Yeah, because life is pain. You're
Yeah,
goth.
True.
exactly.
True.
Mhm.
But yeah, all of these different classes you can equip. You change classes by equipping different special moves called mods on your characters. The first mod you have equipped determines your class. You can have up to 3 mods equipped total. And that kind of determines what your kit is. You only get a certain number of attacks. You will get access to more, but you can only have up to 1 beat and then up to 3 mods equipped. So, what classes do people enjoy?
Well, I'll get to that, but just
Oh
if
yeah.
anybody cares, Faye can be a show-off, headbanger, goth, avant-garde, busker, well-toned, or sampler. Anyone can be sampler. I'm not going to say it every time. Ian can be well-toned, distorter, show-off, headbanger, tuner. Briff can be tuner, busker, avant-garde, goth, distorter. All right? There we go.
Mhm.
There
And
you
they
go.
all have
So-
different costumes for each of them too,
Yes.
which is fun.
Yeah, they're pretty good, too. That's another thing. So I want to talk about this. I'll talk about this
Sure.
next. Let's talk about classes first.
Okay.
So Faye, I mostly ran show-off because I wanted the speed.
Same.
Mhm.
Briff, I either did tuner because I liked having him as my healer, or goth because I loved the little spider guy that you can
Yeah.
summon when you're goth. Spider guy rocks. And Ian, I mostly just kept him as well toned or headbanger, one of the core damage classes.
And how about you?
Okay. So my end state, I think I had Faye as a headbanger because I wanted the high noise. Ian was, I believe, he spent most of the time as a headbanger or a distorter. I don't remember which one he gets. And Briff was a toner because he was my healer. Uh, you can get like ultimate moves. We're going to talk about the moves at some point because that's like half the game. But there are like ultimate moves, and for each of them, I got basically their basic like big move, and Briff's was like striking a gong to heal everybody. Uh, and so he stayed as a toner because the ultimate moves can only be in that first slot, which changes your class. Um, and I also got the headbanger for Faye, which is pretty good. Uh, so that's what I did for basically half the game. I also did like the avant-garde, but it didn't stick around for the end.
Yeah, I went with show off for Faye because it's the fastest class period. For I think it's the fastest class in the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely is for Faye, and then had well toned for Ian
Mhm.
because I just had him as a tank. He had very high HP and very high toughness, so I just put him in the front. Oh, we didn't talk about. We'll talk about cycling through characters and how that works
Yeah.
later, but he was very useful to throw in front and then have him tank. Um, and then Briff I had as a distorter because that made his melody super high. And I believe the little spider dude who he can summon, he's in on melody for his damage number. So I basically got his melody up to 99.
Yeah.
And then he just hit super hard. and also
Interesting.
debuffed really hard too. He could put slow on people pretty regularly. So he would put slow on everyone. Faye has a thing called it's like power slide
Yeah.
that can double the effectiveness of debuffs on your opponent's bar. So I'd put slow on them, then they'd make them even slower. And then Ian would tank, and I eventually got a patch. You get band patches that are kind of like passive buffs for your characters. Ian's passive, one of them was you counter attack whenever you get hit. So the beat he had was a healing beat that healed everyone. So anytime he tanked, he would then just heal the whole party.
Nice.
Pretty sweet. Yeah, but it's fun. Like there's so many different combos, and there's a lot of play to this game and the combat system. Pete, how did you find swapping bandmates? And can you explain how that works?
Yeah, I mean, this one was sort of weird to me. I want to see if I'm right about this. So, like, more or less, your speed works out with whoever the first person, like whoever your main person is at that moment. So it
Yes.
made the most sense to just put Faye there as much as possible, until maybe an attack was going to come or you were going to attack, at which point you would then just switch out the person you wanted to. So, provided you could maintain an eye on your meter in relation to the opponent's meter, you pretty much always wanted your fastest character in front.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. All right. I
I
thought it added a nice layer to it, Gino. I did like the swapping, but that would be my main complaint. Is like I pretty much just always wanted Faye there, unless it was time to take a hit or dish a hit. So I just rotated as necessary, more or less.
Yeah, like there are sometimes reasons why you would want other people in the front. You recover your MP stats more quickly when you are in the back. So if you just leave Faye in the front, she might run out of, fasting juice, and that can be a little bit tough sometimes. Also, some of the meter sections will be positive, like healing. And so maybe if you have a character who needs healing, you can passively heal them that way. I didn't usually do that as my strategy, but there are other reasons. But I agree with your evaluation that the most powerful thing you could do is just leave Faye in and take as many turns as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And did you find any other reason to swap?
Well, one of the things for like uh keeping Faye in the
Right.
front is you can keep her there, and then as soon as it is like your turn, like the thing pops up, you can swap to anyone. So I would just have Faye in the front and then swap to like Ian in order to do a big attack or something. And Ian is like chronically slow, I think, in all his classes. So you can kind of cheat him out basically. Get Faye's speed up really high and then just swap like to Briff if you need to heal somebody, or to Ian if you need to attack. So it's not as restrictive as like this character was in the front and so you now need to attack with them, um, which is pretty generous of them, I think. Could have been a little bit more strict about it, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah, yeah. It's an interesting system. I don't know how we all kind of came to the same conclusion
Yeah.
on what the most effective way to use it was, but it is pretty distinct from other games that have a similar like way of doling out turns. Let's say.
The the thing I wanted to mention too, that I alluded to earlier, a little teaser for all you listeners, is this game does some of the best work at the margins
Mm.
that I think I've seen in a long time. By
Mhm.
which I mean, like Em mentioned, there are distinct costumes for each of the classes for each character. They're all very distinct. They all look very cool. So it's worth just flipping through. The other thing this game does a really good job with is sort of the filler animations.
Yeah.
Like when your characters are just standing around, when they're walking. There's a time later on where you're crowd surfing, and it's not a
Mhm.
long portion of the game, and each character gets a distinct animation. Like this game makes so much effort to just make stuff look cool at moments it didn't have to.
Yeah. And like that crowd surfing section, like Faye says like, "Oh, I'm ticklish, and so I don't like to crowd surf." And then while you're crowd surfing as her, she's like laughing the whole time. It's really funny. They didn't have to put all that effort into it, but I'm glad they did.
I agree. Speaking of things that they put the effort into, Pete, how do you open doors?
Yeah.
Oh, you just kick them bitches down. Not only do you just launch the door wherever it's going, when you enter a room, you then see that busted door on the far wall. So there's a very funny portion, I forget when it happens in the game, but you kick down 5 doors in a row and they
Yeah.
just stack up on the back wall.
It's so good. This is like a major selling point on their Steam page is that you kick the doors in, and then the doors go flying. And there's like a lot of these like kicking the door in bits. Did you ever meet the like kick king?
I met the Kick King.
The Kick
Yeah.
King? I don't think I did.
What did you think of him, Gino?
It's great. Pete, did you get the message that you've kicked enough doors, your door kicking powers have become more powerful?
I don't think so. If I did, I must have
Oh,
missed it.
Okay, at a certain point, after you've kicked like 50 or 60 doors, your door kicking powers become better, which means if you go back to your hometown, there are some doors that were like boarded up, and you can now kick through that. Um, and there's a temple, I guess you'd call it, in the Tone
yeah.
Woods, which we need to talk about the Tone Woods. We need to talk about some of these levels, but I guess
Mhm.
that door could not be kicked originally. And so when you
Yes.
come back to it, you can bust through that door. And inside, there's a man called the Kick King. You go to the back of this temple to kick down the door in the back of it, and he kicks the door down into you.
Nice.
And he says, "You must, in order to grow as a door kicker, you must know what it's like to be on the receiving end."
Mhm.
Um, and then he asks if you want him. He gives you a self improvement book so that you can kick down any door. And also, he asks to have a look at your foot so that he can learn its
Yeah.
history.
And how do you do it?
Kick him in the head.
Yeah, you kick him in the face, and he's like, very interesting.
Nice.
While your foot is like against his head.
That that brings me to another thing I want to discuss is what are y'all's favorite jokes in
Oh
the
my
game? Because
god.
this is a very
They're-
funny one. I have two that I really liked. One is just a sight gag. So one of the like people, what would you call him? I guess he's like a security guard at the concert, has a beard, and his beard is just hair growing in the letters beard across
Yes.
his chin,
That's
which
pretty
I
good.
really liked. My other one is another, again, just a throwaway
I
gag. Like
believe
there's
his
no reason.
eyebrows say brow.
Yeah, they do.
Dude, I didn't even notice that. I was so focused on beard. But another one's just another throwaway gag. There's no reason you would need to find it. But at one point, you meet a sage,
This
a
is what
wise
I was
elder.
gonna say.
And if you look in his spice rack, the only thing in it is sage.
So funny. This game is hilarious.
It is. It's a very funny game.
Like
It is. I love
G-
those jokes. I loved there's a door there's a person dressed as a door and you
Mhm.
kick them down and then the guy says like you could talk to them and you're like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you weren't a door. You're just a person dressed as a door." And he's like, "No, man. Like I'm not getting up because you killed me. You kicking me killed me. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of,
Mhm.
alleviating your guilt." So he just stays lying on the ground for the rest of the game.
Mhm. And
That's
you
very
can
good.
go up to him and you're like, "Get up." And he's like, "Wow, the stars are so bright tonight." It's so funny.
I love the bus.
The bus
30
is what I was
story
gonna
bus.
say. The so it's you never see the bus from the outside, I don't think.
No.
Uh, but it's implied that the bus is a double-decker bus, and then you go up and you go up and you go up, and, and then you end up on like it tops out on floor 30. Uh, but it's just like winding passages, like out in open air. Uh, it's so funny. It's
That's great. The bus, and it's got an elevator you
uh-huh.
can use to go up to the higher floors. Also, when you kick one of the doors off of the bus,
Yeah.
in the early game, there's a chest you can't get to. And you can get to it after you do the bus if you kick all the doors. There's some doors that you kick and they just like fly off the side of the bus because there's no,
Mhm.
you're on a bus. There's nowhere for the door to go. And then you find it later. This treasure chest you couldn't get to is now accessible because you created a bridge by kicking one of the doors off of the bus.
Funny.
It's great. Like, that's a really good bit. I love the whale.
Yeah, the whale is great.
Yeah. Who just hates the what do they call it? They're like the big band something.
Brass band, I
Big
think, or something like
bass
that.
band, something like that. You're close enough.
That's very good. So there's a whale who hates these fish, and he will let you summon them to kill the fish. And after you've killed enough of these fish, you can summon him forever. But as you keep summoning him, he gets more and more disaffected in the music he's making.
Mhm.
And then I guess he levels up.
So he's just like slamming down on enemies. And then after you do it enough times, he's like, you know what? I want to sing again. And then you eventually he'll be like, no, no, I can't do it. I'm too scared. And then he's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sing again. And then you get a move that is like a whale song, and it heals the whole party. And then he just like shows up and says, "Hey," like when you summon him again. Uh, it's
That's
pretty
really
good.
good. I liked the
Uh,
big Babby Bass.
yes, Babby.
Babby Bass,
Uh,
which is it's one of those like singing wall
mhm.
fish things with a button that you press and it sings. And one of your character, Ian, is very obsessed with these singing fish, and someone kidnaps one of them and then turns it into a mechanized horror that
Mhm.
you have to put down as it's suffering.
Yeah. It it's one of the more like LOL random bits. Uh, but I don't know, there's something to it.
Oh
Got a
man,
little got a little stale by the end, I would say. But
we haven't even talked about recently hatched
and K-Quack.
and K-Quack. There's a rapper duck named K-Quack, and then his MC or his hype man is a tiny triangular shaped penguin named Recently Hatched.
Mhm.
Hip hop penguin.
Oh, it's so good.
Uh, this game's funny. This game is a delight to
Yeah.
play, and exploring the world is also very fun. I liked the different treasure chests that you kick open too as you go through the game, especially when you're at the concert and the treasure chest is porta potties.
Yeah. Ah, it's
You just
good.
find porta potties in places they shouldn't be because they're treasure chests. It's a good game. It's very fun. So story wise, like
Mhm.
there's a lot of goofs, there's a lot of japes. The
Jeez,
Tonewoods,
Japes.
Pete. How would you
Alright.
describe the Tonewoods, which is the first location you go to, basically?
Love the Tone Woods. The Tone Woods is a bunch of plants getting swole. They're not happy enough with just being flimsy stems and leaves anymore, so they're gonna get jacked, and they do it.
Mhm. All the trees have abs. There's there's man trees and there's woman trees, and they're all ripped.
Shredded like cheese. These trees.
Mhm.
Hell yeah, hell
Eh,
yeah.
They've got biceps and
Yep.
abs. That's very. There's flowers, and the petals are like four arms flexing. It's very good. Um, I like the pythons. The
That are
Tonewoods.
just arms.
They're flexing arms with snake mouths at the end,
Mhm.
where the hands should be. Um, that's really good. The Tonewood culminates in you reaching a gigantic tree woman
Hmm.
and going into her
Claire.
hair.
I love
Yeah.
Claire.
You like Claire?
Yeah, for obvious reasons, I guess.
She's basically a giant naked tree woman.
Yep.
Mhm.
You go into her hair to clear out some birds that are living in her hair, which is fun. Then after that level, you go to the basement of the local base store,
Yeah.
which is
Record
run by a
shop.
bass. Was that Pete?
Obviously.
Yeah, it's just a record shop.
Yeah, and they sell instruments. You go into their basement, and there's a secret recording studio, and you have to kill a bunch of fish. And Babby Bass, who's been turned into a monster. And after that, you go to after that's the bus, right? You have to go to the
Yes,
next town over.
we haven't mentioned your friends either, though. The amazing keyboard
Oh
duo.
yeah.
Oh yes, please tell
Uh,
me more about Platinum Scrumptious.
It's Platinum Scrunches are two amazing keyboardists, Platinum and Scrumptious. And Scrumptious is serving things up. Like she's ready to go. She's twerking, she's dropping, she's popping, she's killing it. Big fan of Scrumptious.
I think he.
yeah.
Really? Okay, I
Uh,
apologize. I did not pick up on that. Still a big fan. That hasn't changed my attitude towards Scrumptious.
I think Scrumptious might be a drag queen, but I'm not
Okay.
sure. It might just be implied. But I think Platinum says he, so I couldn't say.
I
No,
must have just
Platinum
been.
says he at some point.
Yeah.
I was
Um,
mesmerized by all the booty, and I must
Yeah.
have picked up on it.
Yeah, the quantity of booty is high in this game,
Mhm.
specifically from Scrumptious. Um,
Yep.
yeah, they're fun. I really enjoyed. I mean, the Battle of the Bands, like everyone being tricked into a demonic Battle of the Bands where you have to fight to the death, is a very good premise. Um, and you basically, the goal pretty early on is how can we defeat this band called Apocalypse? That if you beat them, maybe the terms of your contract, your demonic pact, will be rescinded, so that you do not have to fight to the death. You can leave without killing everyone.
Yeah.
What did you think of the band that gets in the way? The techno band.
Head. It's not headbanger, but it's more or less. The
It is
one guy has
Headbanger,
a.
I think.
It is headbanger. He's got a
No,
drum
so
for a
close.
face.
They've made themselves one with their instruments. And it's like one of them, her arm turns into like a big cannon. The other one has like tubas for hands.
Yeah.
And then the last guy's just got a drum face and he punches himself in the face and deals himself a lot of damage to damage you. They're so good. What is their band name? Do you know off the top of your head?
It was weird. It was like Tektronix or something. It was something odd.
I'll see if I
And
can track it down.
I really
Is-
enjoyed how bad they were as a band, though, when you fight them. They're so bad.
They're much more interested in like making weird like tech dungeon where they trap you and you get kidnapped by them at one point and you have to fight your way out of it. And they've got some weird stuff in their basement. Uh, I don't know if you fought that thing that was down there.
I fought the band that they turned into a flesh monster.
Yeah, it's like a amalgam of like four different people, and it's it's pretty tough. It's not the hardest boss in the game, but it's up there. It's one of those like legendary bosses which come up one in every section.
Mhm.
Um, so
Yeah, that's very fun. I liked. Did you
It's
fight the other mini boss in that area?
their name is Mutilla.
right. Uh-huh. What was the other mini boss?
Doorman.
The doorman. Oh
There's a
yeah,
guy who.
the the guy who's gonna take revenge on your malicious like door kicking activities. He has you make a he asks you for a motor, a boot, and a spring, and he's gonna use this to beat the crap out of you. Um, and so you collect all this stuff around the level, and he's like, "You fools! I've I made this thing to get back at you for what you've done." And then you beat him, and it blows up, and then he's like exploded for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
really enjoy that he makes an automated door kicker and attacks you with it, and it's bad.
yeah, it's not very good. But I did you do the what boot did you pick for it? Because you can pick either like a nice boot or you could pick the big black spiky boot. Uh, and that increases his attack power when
Oh,
you
I mean,
actually give it over to him.
was anybody unclear on where this was headed? I mean, the second he was like, "I need a spring, an engine, and a boot," I'm like, "Oh, to make an ass kicking device for me." Like, no, we're gonna get the spiky boot.
You never know; it could have been for any reason.
and he's in a room full of broken doors that he's not talking about
Mm, yeah,
from
I don't
all
mind
over the
that.
world.
Oh, it's good.
It's good. And how does this game end? So you defeat Apocalypse.
Okay.
Apocalypse. This
Well,
causes.
first,
Yes.
Gino, you're skipping some steps. I mean, first you have to defeat your mother and her
Oh yeah.
band in one of the
No,
most
no, wait.
emotionally wrenching
Wait.
No, no,
twists.
we're not there yet. We're not there
Not
yet.
there
That's
yet. First, you
spoilers.
have to
Right?
fight Apocalypse.
Yes.
Apocalypse is for you crowd surf towards them. Defeating them
Oh,
causes
you're right.
what is
Apocalypse is first. I apologize.
Yeah.
basically a gigantic demonic babby bass
Yep.
Yes.
is brought to life. So it's an elder god that is basically a singing fish.
What is this thing called? Monstro or something?
Basically, if it
I
isn't
don't
Monstro, it's
remember.
basically
Yeah,
Monstro
it's
from.
close enough. Yeah, it should have been if it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I guess we should talk about what did you think of the design for Ian's mom?
Why did you call me out for this?
I have two people to call on. I'm
All
going back
right.
and forth.
Okay. So Ian's mom, we go back to like their hometown. It's Ian and Faye's mom. Faye is adopted. Um, and Ian's mom, yes, I do have a screenshot of her. Don't ask why. Ian's mom is named Iris. She looks like she is also a skeleton, but she is ripped and she is wearing a bikini and she
Yep.
has abs which also have little bikinis on them.
She
And
is a literal muscle mommy, to use the phrase.
I don't know if you're allowed to say all that, but
I
sure.
did. I did say it.
Uh, yeah, she's pretty good. She gets Ian and Faye to work out until they're like red in the face. They're like dying. Briff goes off to do something else. Uh,
He's mad
it's
at them.
yeah,
They
he's
Yeah.
mad
lied
at
to him
them.
about the Battle of the
Yes,
Bands.
he finds out on the bus, I think, that
Yes.
they lied about the Battle of the Bands. They did not tell him that it was a battle to the death because he was unconscious at the time. Uh, yeah, Faye tried to
This
wake him up and use music against him, and someone else was there. Oh, we got to talk about your like save point and all that.
Seva.
Sava was there, and she was like, "I think you're hurting him. I don't think he's sleeping. I think you knocked him unconscious." And you're like, "No, he'll be fine." And he's
You're like,
out
shut
for
up.
like several hours.
You can't hurt people with music.
That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Then you find out that's exactly what happened. Uh, so you don't tell him that it's a fight to the death, and so he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have a great time at the Battle of the Bands. You guys are all excited, right?" Points over to Platinum and Scrumptious, who are freaking the fuck out,
Yeah.
and they're like, we're gonna die.
Like, you sociopath. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. It's so funny. Um, and then we go to Ho Ho. I don't know why it's called Ho Ho, but Iris is like, we're gonna train you up, and then they get dragged off. There's
How
a
has the ab bikini never? I've never seen that before.
yeah,
It's a heck of the a bikini for each six pack. Each part of the six
yeah.
pack is a look.
Mhm.
Did
It's
you
what a
notice
design.
that when you were playing through, or did I point that out and you
No, I knew. I
took
noticed
notice
it,
of it?
and I was
Okay.
like, "That's a strong design." I'm surprised I've never seen it
Oh yeah,
before.
it is a
I like
strong
their
design. Exactly. You got it.
I like their band strategy too, which seems to boil down entirely to smack your instruments as hard as you possibly can for
Yeah.
maximum damage.
We're not there yet. We
Sorry,
haven't gotten there yet.
I'm jumping ahead again.
Shh. Oh God. All right. So Apocalypse is having their concert, and you have to go and interrupt it. Which seems like it's going to be the end of the game, right? Only you beat them, and then the giant fish sculpture behind them uh, comes alive and lasers Apocalypse to death.
Yeah.
Um,
Turns out the whole Battle of the Bands was a plot by the demon who organized it to resurrect his giant evil bass lord, who was the one who created the Battle of Bands in the first place.
yes, this is the 100th Battle of the Bands, so it's got to be special, and
Yep.
so we're gonna have everyone kill each other, uh, and then you go through a portal to the demon world and do a Battle of the Bands. And the first band is against your mother, or well, Faye and Ian's mother, and uh, Rudy, who is a uh, what would you even call him? A reindeer? He's like a buff reindeer man,
Yeah, pretty much.
and some other guy, like a fish guy, I think. Uh, and they're all fighting with like weapons made from tone wood, which is the only way they would be able to use instruments because nothing else could handle their like strength. So they needed something extremely strong. So they cut down the tone wood in the start of the game. That's a spoiler. There's a sorry. We're gonna reveal the end of the game now. uh, and then after that, you fight. Who's the other band? There's like it's
I think there's like a
Mutilla next,
yeah.
isn't it?
I mean, there's a rando somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's a rando in the middle here, and then Mutilla is next. And one of the members of Mutilla, she's like trying to contain the fish god, uh, like suck out his like evil energy. Um, and so you're fighting Mutilla, and there's like a robot version of her that is supposed to stand in, but you blow it up pretty quickly. Um, and then you beat the shit out of Mutilla and you kill them, I guess. They die.
Yep.
Or do you stop right before killing them because
So you
the thing
kill.
goes through?
Yeah, I think you kill her. That's later, maybe.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
gosh, I
a
can't
little
remember if
bit.
Mutilla dies. I think they do. I do think they die
Oh,
because
okay.
it's not
Well,
fast enough.
yeah, they die, and then the thing completes. The siphoning mechanism completes, and the fish god gets sucked up into a little tube, and then it's like, you think this can contain me? And
It's a
you do a
real.
yeah,
It's a real like almost this was my plan all along sort of deal.
uh-huh,
Where it's like I've just been
exactly what I
freed from
wanted.
my fish prison.
Uh-huh. Uh, and then the member of Mutilla, whose name I'm forgetting, is like, well, I can do one more thing. And she shoves the fish god into herself, and it like starts to like overpower her. And then she's like, well, now you're vulnerable to music, and so Deathbulge can defeat you. And she goes out there and becomes like a big organ monster. Like it's got wings and a big gun, and it's pretty fucked up. Uh, and then
Yeah.
you fight that, and if you're at this point, it's probably not too bad. Uh, like I didn't have much of a problem with it. I was at this point like rolling. I had my method picked out, and I was just doing it. Um, so it was not that hard. And then that's the final boss, or is it? Is it the
I
final
mean,
boss, Pete?
if I recall correctly, yeah. I mean, there are lots of
Well,
like
if
ancillary
you
content.
Yes. If you did just a normal run through the game, this is the final boss. If you're insane like I am,
Yes.
I got
Say
all of
more.
the I got all of the achievements and I really beat the game. So you
I
might have
didn't do
beaten the
that.
game, but I really beat the game, which is which is what the achievement says. There is another fight at the end of this. Um, I don't know what happens if you do it normal style because I didn't play it normal style. But at the end, Cake Quack comes out and is like, "It's a real shame to like give up all of this like publicity and everything. Like we're live on TV right now. We might as well make a show of it, and you're gonna fight me." And so you fight K-Quack, which is actually pretty tough. He like he like makes he's like, I'm gonna assume my final form, and then he like does a big glowy thing, and then his coat is bigger.
Ha!
It's so funny. It's so good. Um, and then you fight him, and then you beat him, and that is the full game. Oh, we
Okay.
didn't mention how what happens to recently hatched.
Oh yeah, we
Dies.
didn't.
He gets
Yeah.
killed by the evil monster, the
I mean,
evil
really, it's
Yeah.
god.
K-Quack's fault.
Quack's
Yes.
like, I'm taking these hits. Like, you're for a god, you sure do hit like a bitch, and
Yeah.
then just keep shooting him with lasers, and then recently hatched is like, please stop, and then he falls out dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And uh that
Becomes a
would be the
ghost.
end of it. That would be the end of it, but I found a way to bring him back.
You can revive him. I saw that if you get the
Yes.
legendary songs, you can find his ghost. Does that allow
Yep.
you
What
to
were you,
revive him?
and were you like in the source code? Like, how hard did you play this game?
I 100%ed this game, Pete. I
You played
I
all of
did
it.
it. I
There's
played
no
all of
more.
it. I completed the game. I I got the all uh all the beats. I kicked every door. I went on a bunch of hot dates. Uh, did you even do the dating thing?
No.
What? Okay. Well, first off,
Oh
I
my
just want to
god.
say congratulations for bringing Aerith back to life by playing the game
Yes,
hard enough.
no
Um,
problem. It was an honor. Um,
two, what dating? Huh? What?
okay. So at one point, uh, when you're in Ho-Ho, there's like a moment when Briff and Ian are like, you know what? We're gonna go and get you a hot date because we're probably gonna die tomorrow. And they run off, and you're playing as Faye. And then later, you catch up with the two of them, and Faye's like, "What actually happened on that date of yours?" And then they're like, "Oh man, check this out." And then we go into like a flashback, and it's a conversation where Ian is coaching Briff through a date with first it's Platinum, because they're like, we're gonna do a practice date, and and Ian gives like a full like 5-step like it's called the champ program.
Okay.
It's
Sure.
like compliment. Uh, I don't remember what all the letters are, but
Humor.
it's like, huh?
I'm guessing humor is the H, something like
Yes,
that.
compliment, humor. A is something.
Agree.
M is M is muscles, and then
Smart.
P
That's a good
is
tip. That's a good tip.
proclamation. Uh, so so you go through the date with platinum, and then you can like, depending on what you answer, you get another date. There's like a fish woman who's doing exercises in the uh, like gym that's on top of the mountain. So you get a date with her, or if you answer certain questions, like where's Scrumptious at? You can get a date with Scrumptious. And so I did several of these hot dates because you can be like, no, wait, that wasn't it. That's not how it went. And you tell it again. And whatever you do the last time is what is like canonical. So I did it once and I got platinum. She like was so impressed by the practice date. She was like, wow, let's go on an actual date now. And then I did the fisherman, and then I did one where I just left immediately. Uh, and then for the canonical one, I had Scrumptious, who, because I was like, Ian, why did you set me up on a date with Platinum and not Scrumptious? And Ian was like, what? Oh, I didn't even realize. Why has this never come up before? Uh, it's good. It's so funny. This is like way late in the game. This is after you beat Apocalypse. Um,
I'll have to double back. I didn't know there was a chance to date Scrumptious that I missed.
yeah, you should look into that. It's if you go into the bar like has a table in the front of it, and it's like got a bunch of hearts flying around it. And when you go up to that is when you can do the recollection.
Okay.
It's good. It's good. You should go and see it. Um,
And we haven't said this. This game was a Kickstarter based
yeah.
on a web comic.
Yes. Did you did you know that, Pete, when you picked
No,
it?
I had no idea. I just picked it because it looked fun.
Yeah. This is a game based on the comic Deathbulge, which has nothing to do with the actual band, uh, and apparently was going until development on this game started. Uh, I actually saw some of the like one of the comics. If you look in Game of the Week, I posted it. I just found that comic in the wild like 3 weeks before I played this game, and I did not make the connection, even though Ian is in the comic.
Yeah,
it's
but
it's good.
honestly, this game's kind of staggering for the level of detail and
Oh
fun
yeah,
that is packed into it for a game that Kickstarter games can be real hit or miss.
yes,
Webcomics also can be real hit or miss. A game developed by a webcomic writer who I don't
hmm
know what sort of game development chops they had. Like the fact that this turned into one of the most fun games we played in a while is kind
yeah.
of hats off. Who was the develop? Let me look up the developer for this.
Uh, I have the website open. Contact does not say
Well, on the
who
store
developed this
page
game.
on Steam, developer Deathbulge and Five
Yeah,
Houses LLC.
yeah,
Congratulations, Deathbulge, for creating this. This game is a blast.
yeah.
Recommend it. In case it wasn't clear from our previous comments, we recommend this game.
Yeah.
You
This
should play it.
this
It is
game
fun.
this game is a strong contender for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Yeah. I
If
think that is very
nothing
fair.
if nothing comes out swinging, I'm voting for this. I'll lock it in now because this game's great, and it's uh criminally under like viewed. Looking at the store page, hold on, it has all reviews 331 very
That's too
positive.
few. That's too
Yeah,
few.
that
is
is
too few.
not enough for this game. Play this game and give it a review because
Yeah.
Like-
this
Thank
is
us later.
criminal.
Knowing how many people download this podcast, you would be a considerable portion of the overall audience of this game. So, like, go ahead and let people know because this game's good.
If
Be
three of you
influencers.
did it, that would move the needle 1%.
Be the influencer you want to see in the world.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
Um,
even finish my story about the bringing recently hatched back.
But yeah,
It's
what
fine.
happens?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
we started talking about the dating sim.
yeah, we got off on a tangent. Basically, you have to go and beat a secret boss. Like, did you see that messed up tent that's in the like where the Apocalypse is doing their concert?
Yeah.
There's like a tent covered in blood. It's fine.
Yeah, the tent covered in blood that you can take a nap in.
Yeah. If you do a whole bunch of the other secret bosses, this will open up a like weird extra dimensional thing like the dream space that you were in at the start of the game. Remember that? So you go through there and you figure out that there is one route through it that is like there's these like pillars that you can find, and they all have a little um, thing to stand on next to them. And if you stand on them with a certain class equipped, then it will open up a path. But there is a way. I'm not going to tell you because you should actually go and do this just to see it. There is a way that you go through with a different set of classes, and it opens up a secret path, and that sends you on a completely different route through this space. And then at the end of it, you fight a like basically a secret boss. It's like, whoa,
A
did I
weapon.
cut out?
Oh,
It
you're here.
yeah, okay. It's like a yeah, it's like a weapon from Final Fantasy. Um and it's got like an orb and that changes colors to match the different classes. And it changes its effects based on what color its orb is. So if it's like pink, it'll go really fast and stuff like that. It's wild. Uh like it's really cool. Um and the beat that it drops is like kill anything instantly, more or less. uh so it's worth seeing. And also when you do that, you can then take the legendary beats to Cakewhack's sister, who is just like hanging out, being sad because recently Hatch died. And she will spin up a like super beat that brings recently Hatch back to life. uh,
Great.
and it's pretty
Good.
good. Yeah. This game
Okay.
this game's got some depth to it. I'll
Does.
say.
It does. The combat has more depth than you'd expect. The storytelling has more depth than you'd expect. It's funny, but also not that expensive. So check it out.
Mhm.
Em, it is your turn to pick our next game.
Oh crap! I was worried about this. Uh, all right. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. You know what? I'm gonna. I got this game in a bundle on itch recently. You don't have to get it through a bundle, but I'm gonna use it as yeah. Here it is. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm ripping the band-aid off. We're gonna play what might be the most my genre of game I've picked for this show ever. And
So
I have a type, so
yeah, how many lesbians are in this one?
well, let me tell you what the name of the game is.
1 million lesbians. The game.
Oh, that would be a good one. Hold on, I'm gonna write that down. We're gonna make 1 million lesbians the game. We're gonna play Super Lesbian Animal RPG.
Sure.
This is a RPG about a bunch of furries that are lesbians, and I'm gonna knock this off my list because I haven't picked anything else.
All right, it's in my cart now, and it can't get out of my cart.
Yippee! I'll have
Get out of
fun.
my car.
I don't know if you guys will have fun, but I sure will.
I mean, based on the title, I don't see how we couldn't. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna
No,
be a
I'm.
good
It
time.
will be very funny. You, dear listener, you can make this the funniest thing possible if we somehow follow or preempt Super Animal Lesbian
Duke
RPG
Nukem.
with Duke Nukem Forever. You could make that happen for us. It wouldn't be that hard, really.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
like queued up for it, really.
really, you can make the funniest possible thing happen. Okay, next up, Super Lesbian Animal RPG coming up. Thank you, Pete.
Woohoo!
Yeah, this was a good one. I'm excited for next week too. This is going to be a good stretch for us.
Thank you, Em.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to the next one.
And thank you, listeners. Reminder, you can support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. You can get in touch with the show, deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com or deeplistens@libsyn.com for our comment sections. Until next time, peace.